Hi, everybody. It's your Book Bud Joe here, and we have another tag for you today. It is the end of the year 2025 book tag created by Justin at Triumphal Reads, and we were tagged by Stuart Griffin. Thanks, Stu. You always remember us, and I really appreciate it. So this tag, Justin at Triumphal Reads, he kind of took a whole bunch of these types of tags about like a wrap up from the previous year and took a whole bunch of questions and made it his own. And I never pass up a chance to talk about my previous year of reading. I love doing that and I love getting into it and looking back. So last year was a great year, so I'm really excited to revisit some of these. So let's get into it. First question, what's the longest book that you read last year? That's going to go to Assassin's Quest by Robin Hobb. That is the third installment in the Farseer trilogy, and that came in at 880 pages. Usually I would shy away from books that long, but I just have fallen in love with this series, and I just can't wait to continue with the Live Ship Trader series. My buddy Chaz is like my cheerleader with this from Bookish Chaz. Check him out because he loves the Robin Hobb realm of the Elderlings, and he's like my mentor. So, yeah, that was the longest book that I read, and I absolutely loved it. It was phenomenal. Okay, number 2, what was the shortest book that you read? That was Until You by T.J. Klune. That is the third, also the third, in his At First Sight series. And that came in at 149 pages. I couldn't understand why he made that one so short because the other ones were like full length, like books. I don't understand why he did that. And it was like the first and the second were like regular, I don't know, 330, something like that. And the fourth as well. The third, 149 pages. I just found it bizarre. Okay, number 3. Who is your new favorite author? Boy, did I discover a new favorite author last year. And that would be dun, 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 Neal Shusterman. We've talked about him a little bit on this channel. It all started with Scythe. Scythe was an amazing story. Such a great series. That's the one with the Grim Reaper character on the cover. I'll show it to you here, of course, but that was such a good book. We have a review up of that book, and we just loved it. It's such a good series. I won't get into too much here, but it's like a dystopian society, and people aren't dying anymore because we've overcome all the illnesses and sicknesses and diseases in the world. But to control the population, the Grim Reaper characters who come and glean you, and they take your life. And then they grant your family immunity for 1 year. You got to kiss their ring. Your DNA goes onto the database through the ring, and then you're in the system. So no scythe can glean you for a whole year if you're the family member of someone who has just been gleaned. That's pretty cool. There's good scythes, there's bad scythes, and there's like this whole system in place. So highly recommend that series. Then I went on to the Everlost series. Loved that one. It read a little bit younger to me. Didn't mind, but I did notice. That is a series about this place called Everlost. Some kids, when they die, they go to Everlost. No adults, though. Adults are not in Everlost. So it's kind of like the in-between place. I love Neal Shusterman. He doesn't mention heaven. He doesn't mention hell. He doesn't mention religion, but it's kind of implied. So Everlost is that in-between place where souls go to figure it out. And sometimes they get stuck there, and there's a whole group of kids there, and someone becomes a leader, and she is not a good leader. She is trying to keep souls there instead of letting them move on. And when they are ready to move on, he says they got where they were going. That's the way that he puts it. He doesn't say they went to heaven. He says they got where they were going. That's kind of cool. And I moved on to the Unwind series, which it's competing with Scythe for the first place. Scythe is in first, absolutely. Everlost is now in third. But who's going to be number 2? We're going to see if Unwind can knock it out of the spot. It's going to be tough, but Unwind, so good. I'm only on, let's see, I read the first book, and then I read a novella, and now I have the second book all ready to go on Audible. So this is about a dystopian society where women are no longer allowed to have abortions. However, parents can decide to unwind their children through the ages of 13 to 18. If their child is not up to par, if they're getting in trouble with the law, if they're not listening, if they're failing out of school, if they, go to jail or are going to go to jail, they can choose to unwind them, which is basically they send them to the harvest camp where they harvest their organs. And the pieces of their body, are like an arm, a leg, are sent to people in need. So they justify it by saying, we're not killing you, honey. You're living on through these other people and giving them life. It's sick. It's twisted. It's great. I highly recommend Unwind. So Neil Shusterman, so into his books, love his stuff, can't wait to read more. Number 4, what book made you happy? That would have to be Before Dorothy by Hazel Gaynor. Now, this is a book related to The Wizard of Oz. This has to do with Aunt Em and her life before The Wizard of Oz. And this is kind of like a historical fiction novel, all about the Dust Bowl, mid-America during that time period. Very difficult to live. She chose the farming life over like the big city life with Uncle Henry, because that's what he was into. And she chose the really, really tough lifestyle, what they had to go through to just survive. I like those novels. It's kind of like reminded me of Little House on the Prairie. I like to learn about that and read about that. So it was great. And how they tied in The Wizard of Oz was awesome. So many Oz references. I highly recommend it if you're an Oz fan or if you're a historical fiction fan. Love historical fiction, so I just can't get enough of it. So for all these reasons, this book really made me happy, and I've recommended it to quite a few people. Number 5, what was the most depressing? That would have to be The Bells by Richard Harvell. That's the book. I talked about it last year. We did a scene with Mary ringing the bell. It's about a little boy who is separated from his mother. Well, they kill his mother. That's the start of the depression. And some monks kind of save him. They take him to their monastery, and what happens is a whole other group of people, they castrate him to preserve his singing voice. This poor boy, he loses his mother. He's with all these strangers, and then they mutilate his body. So that's quite a book. I did enjoy it though. It was good, and I researched it, and that castration thing is quite true, unfortunately. Read up on that if you dare. Number 6, what's the book you've thought about the most? That would have to be a Hollywood memoir. I like to read a few of these per year. This was Finding Me by Viola Davis. I love Viola Davis as an actress. I think she's incredible. She has great work. I just love watching her. I love her speaking voice, and the audible was done by her. The terrible challenges that she faced growing up, they were very poor. She often had to go to school soaked in urine. She smelled. They didn't have food. She was starving. Little girl going to school soaked in pee and so hungry. The racism that she experienced because she was very dark skinned was just brutal. So I've really been recommending this a lot to people who like Hollywood memoirs and just enjoy seeing people who have overcome so many obstacles from birth. It's like these people don't have a chance. And when you see them finally turn it around and make something of themselves, and they're happy and they've released those demons, it's so special. I absolutely love that. Okay, next question. What is a favorite cover of yours? That would have to be Black Sunshine by Karina Halley. This is a vampire book. It's quite explicit. I call it my sex book. Once a year I read a good sex book with a lot of explicit sex. I don't know how it happened. It started with Blood Orange, and this is related to Blood Orange. It's by the same author, and it's kind of takes characters from that world, vampires, and now these few vampires have their own story. But the cover is awesome. It's just beautiful. It's the red and the black, and there's a skull, and the use of the moon and the stars. It's such a beautiful cover. Really, it's hauntingly beautiful, I thought. Number 8, which book are you most likely to reread? Now, I don't reread books, so I really had to think hard about this one. And the winner is Carrie by Stephen King. This book blew me away. This is his debut novel, which impressed me because I've read a few Stephen King at this point, and some are just huge misses for me. I can't get into some of his works. But at the same time, there are those few books that I absolutely love, like Misery and Pet Sematary. and now Carrie. Wow, this was such a good book. And what I loved about it was that you knew what was coming. I mean, I saw the movie, so I really knew what was coming, but he wrote the book in such a way where he let you know what happened and then worked backwards. Newspaper articles and excerpts from a book that he was kind of like referencing throughout the book that kind of told what happened. And then we're working our way towards that through the novel. But like, you know what happens on prom night from the start. So it's kind of cool in that way. It's like, wow, like what led her to this? What happened? And they were brutal to her, those kids. Kids are terrible. So are adults. Oh, humans, we love them. Okay, number 9, An Underdog. I'm going to choose Him by J.D. Kirk. This is the book that I read with Mason from Mason in the Dark. We buddy read it. We had a live discussion all about it. This was really fun. So this is about a woman whose husband died. And obviously she's distraught. She's grieving. She finds out that her husband and his best friend were working on some sort of software before he died. And it had to do with like people who lose a loved one staying in contact with them by creating an AI that's very similar to the deceased person. You do this by loading in all of their text messages, all of their emails, all their information, all their voicemails. The AI speaks in their voice because I analyzed all the files, and it texts as the person would text because it has all the text messages and the emails, and it speaks like that person. So it's pretty freaky, and it's pretty crazy, and it's pretty scary, and it really makes you think, like, would you do this? Would you want to connect with your dead loved one in this way? Ooh, it's a perfect book for these days because AI is so big right now. The whole thing just scares me. I'm not ready for this. I don't use any of these things. Did you guys ever check out the AI options on YouTube and what it can do with your image? It's so freaky. I sent it to Mary and I'm like, look what we could do. It like takes your image from your videos and it like gives you all these options. I can't even think of one. It's just freaky because it changes your face. It doesn't look like you, and is doing movements that you've never done. I think the whole thing is just crazy. I've never seen anybody use that on here, but we'll see. Okay, next up, what is a book that was most surprising? I'm going to have to do another Stephen King here, guys. This is going to be Christine. Now, I wasn't really sure going into this. I'm trying to read his older novels because I tend to enjoy those more. But a possessed car? I was like, this is going to be corny. How is he going to do this? I loved it, guys. I was so surprised at how much I liked it. I didn't think it was corny at all. He did it in a genius way. The character development in this book was superb. The main character, his friends, his parents, like, wow. Like, and this wasn't an overly drawn out book like some of his books are. So I know he can get the job done in a quarter of the time he does with it, where some of these other books that are 1,000 pages, we don't need that, Stephen. You are a very talented author. You can get the job done in like a 400-page book. Just saying. It was phenomenal, guys. Read Christine, read Carrie. Stephen King, he's great. Obviously, like I'm discovering it. Okay, next up, what was the most frustrating book? Here we have a contemporary author, Frida McFadden. Now, I love a good Frida book. She's very entertaining. It's light. It's quick. It's fun. It's not too deep. It's not too complicated. These are like fun beach reads, maybe on the plane when you. I mean, I can't really concentrate that well on the plane, so like I need something light. I do enjoy some of her books. But this one that I read, The Tenant, which was released last year, it's like a new book for her. It was not good. So I'm frustrated with Frida because I'm finding that her older books are great as well. So I think what happened was she was writing a certain way. I mean, I don't know this for sure, but this is just my opinion, my thoughts on analyzing the situation. She was writing a certain way, didn't have too much success, has some skill for a good thriller, you know? Then she hit it big with The Housemaid. Okay. I tried to read that book after it became very popular, and I had to wait weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks because I ordered it from the library, and it was just hundreds of people. I was like 272. Um, so I think she got a little bit of that success and really enjoyed that success, and now is trying to kind of emulate that with her new books. Because The Housemaid, did I love The Housemaid? No, I thought it was very different. I liked the twist. I liked The Housemaid. The rest of them, they're sequels. They're not so great. But I don't think The Housemaid is her strongest book. So I feel like she kind of dumbed down her writing for the masses. I don't know. So I'm frustrated with Frida. I am. Because I Do Not Disturb, great book, guys. Do Not Disturb is phenomenal. I really enjoyed that one. That one was so good. The Surrogate Mother, that one too. But these recent ones, I'm just, they're falling short for me. So, but you know what? As long as she's having success, but then you're gonna lose people like me who get fed up. So, whatever. Okay, the most disappointing. I don't really have much to say about this because I did not enjoy it at all. And I don't even remember what it was about. A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kemmerer. Mary recommended this to me. She thought that I would like it. I felt bad because I didn't, and she felt bad. It's tough when you recommend a book to someone and you really think they're going to like it and then they don't. I felt bad. I think this was the Beauty and the Beast retelling. Was that this one? Not a retelling, but it like incorporated that. I don't know. I couldn't do it. I think I DNF'd it. I don't know. I can't even remember what it was about, so I'm sorry. Did anybody out there like that book? I feel like it's popular. I hear about it a lot. I didn't like it. Next one, the most overhyped. I really couldn't answer this question. It was a tough one to answer for me, so I'm gonna go with one that's like I'm forcing it. This is not really. I wouldn't answer this way, but I guess I have to provide some sort of an answer. So I'm gonna say "Death of a Christmas Tree Salesman" by Patricia Meredith. And I'm only saying this one because a lot of booktubers I know enjoy this book, like several. And I was surprised at that. I was like, oh, wow, he likes it too. Oh, and she knows about this book too. I had never heard of it. So I was just like surprised that, everybody else is just on board already. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm late to the party. So I read it. I don't know. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it either, but it wasn't something that I really bought into. I don't feel the need to read the next one. I thought it was cute for a moment in time. I mean, I guess I could say that was most overhyped. I don't know. That's my only answer because none of the books that I read last year I felt were overhyped. Not even this one. But again, like I said, I'm forcing this answer. Okay, the next one, the most underhyped. Oh, and I have it right here. Well, I don't have it, but I have the sequel. I said Vicious by V.E. Schwab. This is the sequel, Vengeful. Now, I'm just saying this because, well, first of all, Mary didn't like it. So that's contributing to my answer. And second of all, I don't know. I don't really hear too much about this book. I hear about her books. I hear about Addie LaRue and that other one. The name escapes me for the moment, but I never hear about Vicious. So I'm going to say that that's underhyped because I love this series so much. So I would think everybody would be talking about this one. I'm on the second one and I'm loving it. So that's my answer. Vicious by V.E. Schwab. Go get it. It's great. Okay, number 15. What's a book you wish you had read in 2025? I'm going to go with Red Rising by Pierce Brown. So this book I've been hearing a lot about. And I've seen it in the bookstores. I just never have given it a chance. But so many people lately have been recommending this book. It sounds so good. So it's about a color-coded caste society on Mars. What? They're trying to get, the Reds seem to be the lowest of the low in the cast. And they're like working hard all day long, trying to like get the planet ready for civilization, I think. But it turns out they're being tricked. Civilization is already there on like the other side of the planet, and these people are just being duped into being like their servants and their slaves, and they're pissed. So this sounds so good, and I really want to get into this year because there's a few books in the series, and I think it's something I'm going to enjoy. All right, so that brings us to the end of the tag. I am going to tag Pat from Book Chat with Pat, Kevin from Kevin Toll Reads, Chaz from Book is Chaz, and Elliot from Husband Book Reviews. Tag, you're it. Okay, and I thought I would end with talking about V.E. Schwab again. So here's the sequel to Vicious that I'm absolutely loving. It's about these two college students who have to pick a thesis, and they want to do it on what creates an extraordinary. An extraordinary in this world is kind of like a superhero, a person with like superhero powers of some sort. So they found out that near-death experiences create an extraordinary with the adrenaline and all that kind of stuff. And it changes them. So they decide to try to test this theory out on themselves. I don't want to give too much away. Things happen. Are they successful? Are they not successful? What happens after that? Does one turn on the other? Vengeful. He wants revenge. So I just love it. I think it's so different. I think it's so great. And I'm so excited to get into this series even more. I hear the third one is coming out later this year. But they also have some novellas. And I got one novella on Audible and I listened to it. It was very short. And then I saw this one and I got it from the library. V.E. Schwab Extraordinary, a villain story. Okay, so I got this from the library, and wouldn't you know, surprise, surprise, it's a graphic novel. I had no idea. I love when our favorite books get illustrated in this manner. So I'm so excited to read this little short graphic novel in the world of extraordinaries. And yeah, so I just love this. This says number one. I hope there's going to be more in this format. Number one is on the side. So there you go. V.E. Schwab. If you enjoyed what you saw here today, please like, share, and subscribe with your friends. And last but certainly not least, thanks for visiting Book Buds. Be upset, you people who like this book, and I know who you are, so I'm not going to mention your names. Don't be upset. Pat from Book Pat with Chat. Book Pat with Chat. Good thing I caught that. I don't have Mary here to edit me. And I have this here too. No, I'm going to cut that.